Hello, crafters! Box here, owner and operator of Boxcraft MC, the Minecraft survival server. I'm here today to judge our weekly build contest. Our theme this week was maze. With me is Nooktai,
Hey,
and we're going to go around, have a quick look at the builds. We're not going to go through any of them because, of course, they're mazes. It takes some time to go through them. But we're just going to have a peek, see exactly what's been built, comment about it a little bit, and, you know, show you what our users have put together this week. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's jump right into it. Over here, we'll start at this side and work our way inwards. So this is, you can ignore the giant Mega Man. I like it, but it's obviously not an entry because it's not a maze. This is Mr. Fuzzy Wuzzy's maze. And I really liked how it was put together. He had a couple of distinct different sections. At the bottom he had kind of a fence type maze. It wasn't really a maze, but it was interesting. It was an interesting take on the concept. The second level was pretty much a standard maze. The third level was a fire maze, and then after you got through that, you had to go up to an obsidian maze, and then you'd climb up to the tower way up here, not obsidian, bedrock maze. And up here you'd get 4 diamonds, 2 gold ingots, and you'd also get a sign where you could post your name on the board to show that you won. You can't really see the board very clearly, but it proves that we actually did go through the maze to test it out because both me and Nooktai's names are on that board. But moving on, that's Mr. Fuzzy Wuzzy's. I give that, if I were to give it points, I give it 3 scoops of vanilla ice cream.
it's just like whose line is it anyway, though?
Yeah,
Points
the points
don't
don't
matter.
really matter. We're just going to arbitrarily decide who's won. This is Fearless Middles. He was our first place winner for our haunted theme last week. And unfortunately, his didn't really seem finished. He had an interesting concept at the bottom of the maze at the start. You can see that there's levers and pistons, and it's really genuinely difficult to get through. Of course, the only downside is once you got through it once, all the pistons are already open. It kind of removes the fun from any run-throughs afterwards. And then once you get through that part of the maze, it comes up here to this glass and netherrack on fire portion, which was fun, but then you got up here, and this is clearly where he ran out of time. But he came into the contest really late. He came in with, like, what, 6 hours left?
Yeah, it was not much time at all.
Yeah, so he got pretty far considering he had not even a quarter of the time. What does that boil down to? An eighth the time everyone else had? And he still did a lot of really clever things with it. This is Jay Fadouk's entry. I finally actually said his name right the first time. And it's not much to look at from the outside, but it's there. I don't know, I got through his maze, but I didn't feel terribly motivated to push through it. And throughout, I remember thinking, is he actually finished? Is this the completed product? It just didn't feel like it didn't feel polished.
Oh, this one, yeah, I had trouble with it. It didn't run through very well.
Yeah, I didn't really feel a need to keep on going. I mean, I did push through it to what I assumed to have been the end, but I still don't really know if this was finished, truth be told. And, you know, anytime you go through a maze, if it's finished, it should feel finished. Fuzzy's feels finished.
Yes, agreed.
Anyway, next on the list, I'm gonna allow everything to be visible here for a second. This is Zeros, and I have to say one thing that I encountered over and over through the contest that it just annoyed the hell out of me was every time I went over his plot, that popped up. Every single time. Bam. Bam. Irritating. Just Evil Biscuit irritating, who, if for y'all who don't know, Evil Biscuit is the most annoying individual I've ever encountered in my entire life. I would rather fornicate with a bucket of dirty razor blades and broken glass than deal with him again.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
And I'm not even exaggerating. Like, if someone handed me the bucket and said, you either have to do this or let him back in your server, I'd go to town on that bucket, man, I'm telling you.
Oh man.
I would give that bucket a night to remember.
Would you do oil with the bucket?
I would do everything with that bucket.
Oh my
god.
That's disgusting.
But moving on, this is Zero's entry, and I don't know, I wasn't fond of it. For one, it looks just awful
Wait a
from
minute.
the outside.
Was this always like this?
Yeah, it was always like that. It looks just awful from the outside. It's not fun to look at. And once you get inside it, there's death traps that are almost impossible to get past. One of them, which is quite literally impossible to get past without cheating. And then you have this sign thing and just an old logic question with a correct answer and then really just mind-numbingly stupid answers. And you know, I felt like it had potential to be decent, but that it just isn't. Do you have any thoughts?
That pretty much sums it up. This entry in itself, in its entirety, kind of annoyed me with the fact that it was impossible to do.
It's also horribly lit once you get into it.
Yeah, you can't see.
I mean, that fit for last week's theme, but for this week's theme, no.
Yeah, I'm actually really annoyed with not being able to see in it, and also, you know, getting killed and
Yeah.
it being impossible to finish. The outside just doesn't look great. It's kind of, I don't know, it's just ugly.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's completely
He could have done like a
opinion-based.
pattern with these signs, but he didn't.
I know it's
He
opinion.
could have made that look good.
But in my opinion, anything past the nipples thing really just annoys me. You know, I'm not 15 anymore,
Yeah.
and that's just annoying. So,
Now, moving on, we have Dogs and Metas entry. And this one, for one, it kind of makes my eyes bleed a little.
it looks better than the last century.
It does
but
look
it
better than the
still
last
hurts
century,
my
but
eyes.
yeah, it's. I'm glad I'm not an epileptic. And second, I'm not sure what the end of it was supposed to be.
Yeah, I didn't feel
It
like
didn't
I ever
really.
finished it.
Yeah, it didn't really. It just kind of looped back on itself, and again, it had death traps galore. It had points that were really difficult, but were just dead ends, so they didn't pan out to anything. So you went through all that effort, and it made it very clear that all the effort was for nothing.
Or the constant outs to the outside.
Yeah, it just.
I don't know if that meant we were finished or if
Yeah.
they just wanted to kick us out.
It didn't make any sense to me. Then we have Neo's entry, and it's arguably, from the outside, the best looking one. It's also arguably, from the inside, the best looking one. You put a lot of work into this, made it look really good. And rather
Very
than it
well
being a
thought out.
maze, it's like a maze puzzle, which I'm not going to play right now because it's really bloody difficult. But he did really good with this.
I like the fact that he thought outside the box and, anyway, that he didn't do a maze, you know,
They,
word for word, not
yeah,
a
they
maze.
still managed to catch the theme with that puzzle, but without.
I like creativity.
Yeah, I really like what he did with it. Then anyway, moving on, we have King Cakesters. I like the pixel art, but that's about where my likes for this one end. The mazes were ridiculously easy. He had 2 layers of those. And then he had an obstacle course where he said very clearly not to cheat. But the fact is that look how easy it was to cheat your way past it. It was ridiculously easy.
Yeah, you at least need walls. You know, that doesn't take
Yeah,
very long.
he could have just ran the walls all the way up to the top, only left them open where you actually needed to get through them, and bam, the maze is no longer cheatable. I'm just kind of disappointed, and he finished this by the second day of the contest, so he had like a full day, a full 24 hours to actually build that obstacle course and make it so you couldn't cheat your way past it. And even if you don't cheat your way past it, it's pretty easy. There was one difficult jump in it, but beyond that, I was able to just run through the whole thing without really having to time my jumps or anything else. That's the last entry. You can ignore that. I am going to give an honorable mention to Neo's castle they started work on after he finished his puzzle. With help of Zero. And it's just without going into a whole lot of detail because we are running long, it blows my mind. It looks amazing. And he only built this in like maybe 12 hours.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
And it's great. It's well lit inside. It has this courtyard with tables, piston tables, which is a new way of doing tables I haven't seen but really like. It has its walkways with pictures inside. It's just everything about this makes me go, "Oh, that's pretty. That's cool." Alright, so for me, I gotta be honest, clear winner. I'd have to say first place would go to Mr. Fuzzy Wuzzy.
I agree. It's great. I love the layout of this
I mean,
one.
it's not much to look at from the outside, but inside the mazes are well thought out. I felt like I actually accomplished something that had distinct layers. Clear first place to me.
Agreed. First place. Congratulations.
And second place, easily second place goes to Neo. He thought outside the box. He has the best looking one. The only reason it gets second instead of first to me is I don't feel a whole lot of reason to stick with it for more than just a minute or so. I did a few times, and if I went in and won immediately, I went yay and I left. If I didn't win after a couple of rounds, I went screw it and I left. If there was more to keep me there longer, I probably would have given it first. That and it's easily the best looking.
I nod in agreement. Nod, nod.
Okay. I'm glad you said that because this is just audio.
Yeah,
so.
I was nodding, and then I was like, I should say something here.
Yeah, your nodding isn't...
Nod, nod.
Nod, nod. So, that's our contest. First place, Mr. Fuzzy Wuzzy. Second place, Neo, a.k.a. Zimazang. And I'll get with them over the next week, get them their prizes, and we'll be coming back next week for our next build contest. Keep a lookout on the forums on Thursday night for the theme for next week's build contest. Hit up our forums, boxcraftmc.webs.com. Join us. You can find the server IP there. And as far as this video goes, please rate, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think. Give us any suggestions to try and make the video a little bit better. Try and give a little something that you guys would like to see more put on it. And thank you very much for watching. So this is the box saying later.
And this is Nuktai saying bye.